I told my followers that the bottom is in 2 days prior, Nasdaq surging 12% in one single day. Before Trump even announced his 90-day pause, I told my followers that we are going for Nasdaq longs. Now, none of it was speculation. I put my respect on the line. I did my valuation analysis on Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, and especially on Nasdaq, which I alerted in front of 17,000 people on my Instagram. Tesla surging 22% in one single day. We caught the bottom for every single one of these stocks. I made sure that my followers caught a piece of that move. In this video, we're going to break down my analysis on Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, and especially Nasdaq. I'm going to show you why I thought that the market was going to respond in a certain way. I'm going to show you how much I made, but that's not going to be the focus of this video. The focus of this video is that you're going to learn how exactly you can call the bottom in a bleeding market. Everyone was going short this week, but we went long and we banked. Not only did I bank, you're going to see testimonials of my followers catching a piece of this move as well. Now, before I get into my analysis, let me introduce myself. I go by AYN Trades on Instagram. I'm a funded trader with TopStep, and I'm a funded trader with FTMO. I have verified payouts showing over $15,000 in 1 month, and it's all for you to see on my Instagram. You can also see a bit of my personal life on Instagram, which I share my motivation, I share my analysis. I've called out countless trades on my Instagram for free that you can check out in the testimonial highlights. Now, without further ado, let's not waste any more time and get into exactly how I caught an entire 10% move on Nasdaq. Something we haven't seen since 2001. Apple having one of its second biggest days since 2001. Something that hasn't happened in over 25 years, which shows you the rarity of catching a move like this. And not only that, calling it out in front of 17,000 people that I'm going long. Let's not waste any more time and head into the charts and break down how we caught Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, and Nasdaq. Now, before I break down the technical aspect of this trade, you're gonna have to learn the fundamentals. Number one being the Nasdaq weighted composite, which shows the major holdings of Nasdaq itself, which you're gonna see Apple being number one, Microsoft being number two, Nvidia being number three, and Tesla also being in there in the top 10. Now, what makes that so important is because of the undervaluation of tech stocks. Now, this was one of the most important factors why I took this trade on Nasdaq, is because of the weight these tech stocks hold on Nasdaq. When these tech stocks are ready and primed for a good move up, Nasdaq will follow the quickest. S&P 500 and Dow Jones will lag because they're not weighted too heavily on just tech. If you see the top 10 holdings of Nasdaq, almost 8 or 9 of them will be technology. It's weighted really aggressively on the technology sector. So when tech stocks are having a good day or bad day, Nasdaq will follow. All right, guys, what's going on? So before I break down the technical aspect of this, I'm going to show you how we actually called this out. So this big green candle that you see is the 12% day that Nasdaq had that we called out. And as you can see, this is my story archive, over 17,000 people, almost 18,000. We're going to go to the archive and we're going to show on the 9th of April, as you can see, as soon as I called it out, I made a video how I called today's market bottom on Nasdaq. We had a $3,000 day on FTMO. We had a $3,000 day on our Webull, SPY shares, Nvidia shares, Apple shares, and Tesla shares. And as you can see that we bought 20K worth of shares the other day, all in front of you guys, called the bottom in front of you guys. And as you can see right here, this is the day. Look, I posted this signal. This is the story. To celebrate the new car, as you guys know, I just bought a brand new Maybach. To celebrate the car, here's a free trade. If you check my testimonials, I call out free trades every week for free. So if we see here, Nasdaq is in the bottom of this demand zone that I marked out for a while now, that I will buy here if we get down to it. And when we did, as you can see on Monday, we had a very bullish close, which made me signal that this is the bottom. On the 7th of April, I said, we are ready. I think the bottom is close here. Risk what you are willing to lose. At this point, which is this day right here on Monday, the first green close candle at my level of demand, we said that I am buying $20,000 worth of Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, and SPY. As you can see, the portfolio was up just a little at $20,000. And if we see what ended up happening after that 12% surge, we had over $1,700 on that account value, which we called out. I told my followers to buy some shares, risk what you're willing to lose. We called it out right in the bottom, and right after that, boom. So we took longs from the middle of this demand zone, and as you can see from the screenshot, Nasdaq is already up 6%. But if we see at the original picture, we're in the middle of this demand zone, and I'm saying that we're going to go for this CME gap that we have on Nasdaq, which is 12% in a single day. I'm saying that the market is about to rebound 12% almost in a single day, which is historical. We haven't had that since 2001, I believe. The shares that I told my followers that I'm buying are up almost $1,600. And by the end of the trading day, we have raised almost 10%, exactly to the CME gap that I highlighted on my Instagram story. Now, I'm showing you guys this just for proof. So you stick to the end of the video to see that this is legit. I did call this out, and now I'm going to break this down even further, just technicals for you guys to see exactly what I saw when we were crashing. And this follower of mine, Aidan Matina, you can contact this guy. This guy made $800, not a lot, but to me, I think that's great. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time and show you exactly what made me get into these Nasdaq longs, buy my Apple shares, Tesla shares, Nvidia shares for the low. Alright guys, so now that I already showed you the signaling of this trade that I called out to almost 17,000 people, let's actually get into why we took this trade. So in this chart, we have Nasdaq to the left and we have Apple to the right. Now, if we see right here, we're on the weekly time frame on Nasdaq. We're also on the weekly time frame on Apple. If we see here on Nasdaq, we are approaching weekly demand levels on Nasdaq, key level of 17,000 on Nasdaq, which is a very important level. If we see, once we broke 17,000 in 2024, we came back, retested these highs, and we led a massive rally all the way to 2025. So these key levels, these whole numbers are massive. As you can see here on Apple, we had major rejection on Apple in the level 200. We sold off, and when we reclaimed level 200, as you can see, we came back, we retested it, and we led a rally all the way till 2025. Now, I want to share that Apple is the #1 holding in Nasdaq. So when Apple is moving like this, Nasdaq will follow most of the time. Once Nasdaq came back all the way down in the weekly demand zone that we had left on April 2024, if we see right here, it's the last green candle. As you can see that I'm drawing out, it's the last green candle that we left that led to the massive rally. And once we came back here on 2024 of August, which is the same corresponding level, 200 level on Apple, we both saw a rally on Apple and Nasdaq. So we came back to this level, and this is exactly where we went long. Now, as we came back to this weekly demand zone on Nasdaq, we also came back to a weekly demand zone on Apple, which led to confirmation that we are about to see a rally. If I take a look at Tesla, you will see we're also coming back to this demand zone on Tesla. So we have double confirmation. Tesla is undervalued and is coming back to a demand zone. Apple is undervalued, and now we have Nvidia. If we see on Nvidia, we also see that we are coming back to this demand zone. And this is exactly when I told my followers on April 7th, if you see from the stories that I posted, the date will be April 7th, when I saw this green bullish candle hold this demand zone, as well as Nasdaq right here. You see this? On April 7th, on this close, we are holding 17,000 psychologically, and we see a clear bounce from Nasdaq on 17,000 the day of Wednesday. And if you see on the 15-minute time frame, we took longs in the middle of this demand zone. And I said that we're going to go to the CME gap that we left, that we had, as you can see right here. This is the CME gap that I drew out. I'm gonna draw it out in yellow, clone. And as you can see, we reached that gap perfectly and our take profit got hit. Almost a 1 to 2.75, almost a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio that we called out on Instagram in front of 17,000 people. Now, we use the correlation of Nvidia being undervalued, Tesla, Apple, all being undervalued to say that Nasdaq has a high probability of having a relief bounce and going up all the way to that CME gap that we left from this sell-off. Now, personally, I caught an even better risk to reward ratio. Matter of fact, we got risk to reward ratio of 3.61, and I'm about to show you, which made me over $3,000 in a single day trading my live FTMO funded account, which made me over $3,000 in one day, which I'm about to show you right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is my live FTMO funded account. And if you check out my YouTube, you will see that I am a live funded trader and I'm blocking out my account number for security purposes, for contract purposes. As you can see, we have a total P&L of last week of $3,000, and that was all the trades I took: US 30, US 30, US 500, and US 100. US 100 is Nasdaq, and as you can see right here, we bottom ticked Nasdaq and took it up all the way, catching the entire move, netting us almost $3,000 across 4 trades. And as you can see, we bottom ticked Nasdaq and we rode it all the way up top, catching the entire 12% move, a 3.6R trade all the way back to these highs, catching that CME play. Now guys, just for more transparency, I have my FTMO dashboard pulled up, and as you can see, I have an average risk to reward ratio of 2.29%, and these were all the trades that I caught, making me over $3,000 in one single trading day. Now guys, this wasn't just all of my profit. I made over $1,600 just in shares, unrealized, but even that play was called out on my story for free, that I'm buying Nvidia shares, Apple shares, and Tesla shares. Now, if you guys want further proof showing my FTMO funded status, you can check out my YouTube video that I posted a couple months ago showing that I am a live funded trader. I have passed the challenge and verification, and if you check out my Instagram, you will see that I have months showing over $15,000 in verified trading profits just from FTMO alone. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys learned something from this video. I feel like I did most of my part. I showed you guys all the proof that you need to see that I called out the Nasdaq bottom this week, even before Trump decided to pause his tariffs for 90 days. Now, this isn't just a coincidence. If you guys check out my testimonials in my Instagram highlights, you will see that I also called out the market top leading to this sell-off. I called out the market top before this entire market crash, and that video is also documented in my video that I posted last week. If you guys like content like this where I show all the proof, I document it, and I even post a signal, leave your boy a like, subscribe to the channel, because you do not want to miss the next one. This market has given us nothing but volatility for us traders to take advantage of, and if you are not catching these moves, you are seriously missing out. These are some really exciting times coming up ahead of us, and as traders, it is our job to capitalize on these plays and make as much money as possible. And if you're missing out, you do not want to miss out on the next trade that we call out on our Instagram for free. If you guys are ready to learn and take action, DM me on Instagram. I have a Discord where we trade live almost every morning. And if you're interested in being a part of the team, you can DM me on Instagram and we can see how we can get you started. If you guys want to be up to date in real time as I post my alerts, my signals, my analysis, follow me on Instagram, because you will get to see a much more personal side of me and real-time callouts, updates, signals, whatever you name it, it will be on my Instagram. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.